This week's video in syncing Python, we're going to look at doing something very simple, kind of a project-based coding. We're going to start with a for loop, and we're going to do something like back when you was a kid and you got in trouble and you had to write on a blackboard 100 times, I will not do this or I will do that. That's kind of what we're looking at here. But obviously with Python, this is way simpler. Python does all the work. So right now, just a real simple, easy function we're going to do is a for loop. So we're going to define a for loop. So we have for, and we're going to put for writing, since that's what we're doing, we're writing, in a range, say 25 times. That's something simple, reasonable, right there, okay? And whenever you do a for loop, the important thing is, remember, you gotta put a colon there. When you put that colon right here, that tells Python that we're coming down and we're gonna write inside of this for loop some conditions. If you do not put a colon there, you'll get an error, and I'm sure that'll happen at some point. And we'll deal with that when that happens. But for right now, we remember we got a colon right there. Press enter. Bam. Notice we're indented. That's telling Python we're inside of this for loop right here. So what we need to do is we need a variable that's gonna, every time it goes through that loop 25 times, we need a variable that's gonna keep the amount of times we've gone through it. We know we've done 25 times, but I would like to, in this program, put like 1, blah, 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 2, blah, 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 3, blah, blah, blah. I want to actually see. I don't want to have to physically count. I want to actually see that we went through 25 times. So a good way to do this is use what's called an accumulation variable. So num for numbers, right, equals the accumulation variable again, plus one, because we wanted to add by 1 each and every time. Okay, so we got the variable num right, number that we wrote, equals num right plus 1. And each time it goes through this, for all 25 times, I want it to say the accumulation variable, comma, I will never do that again. Exclamation point. I think that's good enough. Okay. So what I can see right now is I'm missing an E there. One way in Thorny, which is the IDE we're using, when you press on there, on the variable, see how it's lit up this one and this one? But when I press on this one, nothing else is lit up. When I press on this one, these two, not that one. When I press on this one, this is the original one. We have to put, the variables have to match. There we go. Bam. Now we got all 3 right here. So we know we're using that same accumulation variable down here. Okay. Now, okay, we have an error right here. Num right equals num right plus 1. Naming error. Num right is not defined. We've got it accumulating to itself, but we never had it start anywhere. So this is a common mistake with accumulation variables. Outside of the for loop, you want to go ahead and create this variable that will become our accumulation variable and just set it to 0. Now we've defined this. See how it pops all the way through here? Now we've defined this, so now that'll take care of this error that we have right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this again. Let's see if I can get over here. Save it. Clear it. There we go. So let's look at that. We don't have to physically count them. We can. Right here. We see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 25. Okay? So we know that worked. So that's an easy example of how to use a for loop using a range in an accumulation variable.